I think it's so important that when we have conversations about Latinidad, that we're inclusive with all of the voices, right? And then we talk about state violence. You know that the colorism is a factor as well, because it is real. It's real in our community. It's real in the Black community. It's real in America. It's real all over the world. I wanted to get your thoughts on what we're talking about right now, and with regards to police violence, because you also have been using your platform to say their names.
Absolutely. A common thing that's been going over my head as I've been listening to the beautiful things that Julissa and Melinna have been saying is that, um, you know, I think that we're a far cry from solutions. And part of the reason that is because we're divided within ourselves. I feel like right now we're in an age where at least the conversation that I've been witnessing is in regards to Afro-Latinidad, who is Afro-Latina, because that has been co-opted within our community, and what that even means. I see people who have a large proximity to whiteness using or identifying as Afro-Latina, which then erases somebody like me, who I
Mm-hmm.
can't take away my big black nose or my big lips or my dark skin. You know what I'm saying? I'm Afro-Latina 24/7. I personally haven't identified with the word just because I seen this coming. Like, it was the first thing I thought of when I first heard of the term Afro-Latina. I'm like, one day people who aren't Afro-Latina are going to utilize this word, and they're going to try to erase me. Like, oh, you're Afro-Latina too? Oh, you're Latina? Because there's a lot of issues that we have within our community in regards to understanding the differences between race and nationality, and things of that nature, and nuances within those type of intersections. A couple of people I would like to shout out is definitely a couple of sociocritics and a couple of community organizers who this isn't anything new for them. This is what they do day in and day out, year after year. Some of them for even at least a decade. Zaida Kelly, who's a well-renowned sociocritic. She's spoken at universities such as Harvard, Stanford, in regards to the hierarchy of Latinidad, what that even means. Um, Janelle Martinez, the creator of Ain't I Latina, who specifically asks, Ain't I Latina? And, why someone like her, who's a beautiful dark-skinned Latina, why isn't she included within our community? Because there's a lot of otherness, right? There's a lot of, oh, esa negra, I guess she's part of us too. Like, we have a lot of work to do in regards to, who we is, right? Who we are, excuse me. Melania Luisa, an author and sociocritic, Alan Lopez, who actually created the hashtag Latinidad is canceled.
Yes.
Um, and, it's,
Migrant scribble.
yes, at Migrant Scribble on social platforms. I mean, Latinidad is canceled. I say Latinidad is a fairy tale. He says Latinidad is canceled. And part of the reason why he even went there is because, again, we do so much to try to group us together in La Raza and things of that nature. And all it does is pretty much sweep over all of the problems that we have within our own group. I mean, for crying out loud, whether it has to do with whether we speak English, Spanish, or an indigenous language, which has to do with pelo malo or
Yeah.
pelo lacio and things of that nature. We have a lot of work to do. I appreciated when Julissa brought up the wage gap, because it made me think of a post I actually did earlier this year, in which I said, well, if Latinos have a wage gap of, I believe it's 54, don't quote me, which Latinos have that gap, and does it fluctuate within Black Latinos
Right.
and white Latinos? You know what I'm saying? Which Latinos are experiencing
Mm-hmm.
that gap, and which are experiencing even more? Because I mean, how are
Right.
we measuring that? How are we measuring that?
Yeah.
To continue, Ruben of Querchisme, he has a podcast, Bitter Brown Femmes. Prisca Dorcas, who actually hosts Latino Voices of Latino Rebels. And I feel like Kat Lazo, she's a white Peruvian content creator who I adore, but she uses her platform as a white Latina, right? She says, "I'm a Latina and I am white," and she utilizes her access, her privilege to then educate others, and I am truly grateful for her and the voices that the conversations that she's willing to amplify and things of that nature.
I appreciate you saying that because I think that I've had people attack me and say that I'm not Afro-Latina. I was raised Afro-Latina. I was Afro-Latina before Afro-Latina was a term, because my grandmother is a Black lady and her children were all, Latinos. We got tenemos a white one that has, coarse hair, and then there's the dark one that has the straight hair because of the effects of colonization. We're all like, I'll be talking about that in my next special. But people would tell me, and my grandmother used to be like, "Tú eres una negra que hablas español. That's all you are." And it's just like, don't get it twisted, because people would tell my mom, if her lips were thinner, she'd be white, or if her nose was thinner, she'd be white. And what people don't understand, that even within Blackness, there's a spectrum, right? Because even you can't say that if like, if I'm not Black, then Rashida Jones isn't Black, Kadada Jones isn't Black, Halle Berry isn't Black. You go to the Dominican Republic and you go to Puerto Rico, and you see people who look like that all over the place. And even though they want to be white, they're not white, because if the KKK comes through, none of us get to stay.
Exactly.
we're all gonna get. But within that, we still have to respect the reality that colorism is still real, and even those people who identify Black, who are Latinos, who are lighter skinned, still enjoy a privilege that the darker skinned Black Latinos don't, and it gets that specific. And when people tell me, that Latinos are anti-Black, I'm like, everyone around the world is anti-Black. They got a problem in India. They got this problem in Asia, in Africa, within the Black community itself. Like, Spike Lee wrote a movie called School Days about colorism within Black people. So, but I did want to just make sure that I held the space with respect to that, because even within me and you, there is a reality that there's a perception of whatever it is, and how inaccurate it is. It's still real, and it's still hurtful to darker skinned Latinos who have to be all of those things. And then they got to get it from all sides, because then you have Black America telling them, well, you're not real Black because you speak Spanish.
Oh, yeah. And then also, I just remembered, because we were talking about, why aren't Latinos being mentioned with the whole Black Lives Matter thing? I'm like, wait, I myself, Katelina Eccleston, I'm a survivor of police brutality. I couldn't go to the two cops who were brutalizing me and say to them, mira, yo soy Latina, yo soy hispana, no, don't bother me, you know what I'm saying? Like, they don't care, In other words, alguien como yo, I can't separate my negritud from my Latinidad. They don't care. They didn't give a damn. They still did to me what they did to me. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And, to that nature, and bringing into that perspective, there are Latinos who have been dying for years at the hands of police and police brutality. Javier Ambler was, his death was, ¿cómo se dice? It was highlighted 2 weeks ago, and he died over a year ago. He died on camera during the filming of Life PD. And if it wasn't for the fact that there has now been pressure from his family that finally caved through to allow the media to tell the story, we would have never known. It was filmed on camera, and the footage is still, there's still no footage to show, the truth of what happened behind the scenes of his death. And it just speaks volumes as to how this does happen within the Latino community, because negros, nosotros, we don't have it. I can't go outside and my super dark uncle can't say, oh, I'm Latino, yo soy panameño, no me joda, me va a joder como quiera.